This year's Remembrance Sunday carried with it a quiet but unmistakable absence, that of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, once a decorated naval officer and prominent member of the royal lineup. For decades, he stood shoulder to shoulder with his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth II, and his siblings as they honored Britain's fallen heroes at the cenotaph. But this time, the cameras did not seek him out. His name was not announced. His wreath no longer lay among those of the royal family. The man who once represented royal duty on the global stage was nowhere to be seen in exile in all but name. Andrew's exclusion from the ceremony marks the final, public humiliation in a long and bitter downfall. Once His Royal Highness the Duke of York, he is now simply Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, stripped of the style, status, and protection that came with his title. After his disastrous interview over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, the palace's patience finally wore thin. What began as quiet withdrawal from public life has now become total erasure. For a man who once relished the spotlight, being invisible at the nation's most solemn event was a punishment far worse than any official reprimand. Sources say that while his family gathered under the November sky in London, Andrew spent the morning in near isolation at Royal Lodge, his soon-to-be former home. Behind its ivy-covered walls, the 5-year-old reportedly wanders the halls aimlessly, ranting to himself, as one insider described, and losing hours to video games. The once proud naval officer now spends his days playing Call of Duty, a cruel irony for a man whose own battles are now fought in the realm of reputation and pride. But even as the eviction deadline looms, Andrew's sense of entitlement remains as unyielding as ever. He's been told to go quietly, said a royal aide, but he's not going without a list of conditions. The king has offered him a house on the Sandringham Estate, a smaller, more modest residence. Compared to the sprawling 30-room Royal Lodge he has occupied for over 2 decades. Yet Andrew's reaction has been far from grateful. He insists, sources say, on a property befitting the son of a queen, complete with a full staff, a cook, a butler, a housekeeper, gardeners, and even a private secretary. He's not prepared to give much ground. He's treating this like a negotiation, not a mercy. The irony, of course, is bitter. For years, Andrew enjoyed the privileges of rank and royal favor while contributing little to the crown's modern mission. Now, with King Charles streamlining the monarchy, there is no room for passengers, least of all one who has brought shame to the family name. Yet Andrew, it seems, still believes the rules of accountability do not apply to him. Within the walls of Royal Lodge, he continues to insist that staff refer to him as Your Royal Highness, despite his titles being revoked. Employees are expected to bow. The butler still addresses him formally, and the Duke, or rather, the man formerly known as the Duke, maintains that this is his birthright, something no king can take away. But beyond the ritual of formality lies chaos. The once elegant residence has reportedly become cluttered with unopened Amazon boxes, evidence perhaps of a man trying to fill emotional emptiness with distractions. There are rooms full of parcels, one staff member confided. It's like he's hoarding everything he can, as if letting go of the house means letting go of himself. Parliament, too, is now circling closer. With the formal removal of his titles, Andrew has lost the limited parliamentary protection royals traditionally enjoy. When the Commons returns from recess, Liberal Democrat MPs are expected to question the government about his arrangements, including any financial compensation he might receive upon vacating Royal Lodge. Once shielded from criticism by convention, Andrew is now fair game. In the eyes of the law and the public, he is no longer a prince, but a commoner. The contrast between the royal family's composure at the cenotaph and Andrew's private turmoil could not be starker. King Charles appeared visibly emotional as he led the nation in remembrance, laying a wreath on behalf of all who had served. Observers noted the king's frail but dignified demeanor, his wife Queen Camilla's look of concern as he carefully stepped down from the memorial. It was in many ways a scene of generational endurance, the monarchy adapting, continuing, surviving. But Andrew's absence was the ghost at the gathering. Once, he too would have been there, his military medals gleaming, his salute sharp, his posture proud. Now he is erased even from tradition. This was a diminished royal group, but also a purified one. Andrew's absence spoke volumes not just about scandal, but about accountability. Inside Royal Lodge, Andrew reportedly clings to the fantasy that he might one day return to favor. "He's pretending everything is fine," said a longtime staff member. But deep down, he knows the truth. Things are really bad. He's lost everything that mattered. Even his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, are said to be keeping their distance from the media storm, unwilling to defend what has become indefensible. And yet, in his mind, the blame lies elsewhere. To Andrew, he is the victim misunderstood, mistreated, and unfairly cast out. The prospect of moving to a smaller house, even one funded privately by the king, is seen as beneath him. He wants freedom to roam, one aide revealed, not to be treated like some prisoner tucked away in Norfolk. His demands for independence, coupled with his insistence on royal protocol, reveal a man at war with reality, unable to reconcile his fated grandeur with the modern world's judgment. For King Charles, the challenge is both personal and political. He must balance brotherly compassion with royal responsibility, knowing that every concession risks public outrage. But for Andrew, Remembrance Sunday 2025 will forever stand as a painful reminder, not just of the soldiers who lost their lives, but of his own fallen status. There was a time when he stood proudly among Britain's heroes, the nation's cameras capturing every salute. Today, he stands alone, surrounded not by comrades or countrymen, but by unopened boxes, fading portraits, and the echoes of what might have been. The final humiliation is complete. The Queen's once beloved son, absent from the nation's day of honor, reduced to a footnote in a family and a monarchy that has moved on without him. Meanwhile, Princess Catherine and Prince William have officially relocated to Forest Lodge in Windsor Great Park, putting them just 2 miles from disgraced royal Andrew Mountbatten Windsor as he prepares to leave his residence at Royal Lodge. Originally planned for a Christmas move, the 8-room Georgian mansion offers better amenities than their previous 4-room residence. Forest Lodge includes 6 bathrooms, a private sunken fence, a tennis court, and a large pond ideal for their family of 5, including their 3 children. Royal expert Rebecca English told that the couple plans to make Forest Lodge their permanent home, even when William ascends to the throne. While Catherine and William may have found a forever home, their move brings them closer to Mountbatten Windsor, who currently is moving out of Royal Lodge. During an interview as part of the Earthshot Prize Impact Assembly amid his week-long trip to Brazil, the future king was asked about his candid recent appearance on Eugene Levy in Prime Video's The Reluctant Traveler. Referencing those comments, Amanpour asked what he has planned. Given there has been a lot of change in your family recently, William is said to have played a key part in taking formal action against his shamed uncle, who finally agreed to leave the property that he has paid barely any rent on for 20 years. King Charles' decision came after fresh revelations arose over Andrew's relationship with pedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew vehemently denies all claims against him. On Wednesday, the monarch issued a letters patent under the Great Seal of the realm to formally change the status of the former Duke of York, who will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Another entry confirmed that Andrew had also been removed from the role of peerage. After Charles finally convinced his younger brother to leave, a decision Andrew had to make voluntarily due to his ironclad lease, the ex-prince will be leaving the property in the new year. His next residence will be on the expansive Sandringham Estate in Norfolk, although it remains unknown which of the 150 properties on the 20,000-acre estate he will occupy. Andrew's former wife, Sarah Ferguson, who shared the lodge with him for many years, has also been evicted. She has been instructed to make her own living arrangements, and it is understood that she will not be moving back in with Andrew. Her future plans remain uncertain.